Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today I'm going to build a router base for my Rotary tool, and I have with me here is a Power Plus. So I will be using Jim Steinbrecher's design to make my own router base, particularly for this Power Plus tool. And I think Jim's design is very efficient, so thank you, Jim, for that. And I will put a link in the description to give him credit for that. And so we have a lot to do. Let's get started. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the design here, and this is the router base which we will be building, and it has two pieces, the top piece and the bottom piece. So here are the top and the bottom pieces, and they're going to be made out of 3 pieces each. For the bottom piece, we're going to cut a V-slot for better vision, and the side pieces will have a regular slot for the wing nuts. So here is a model of the rotary tool attached to the router base, and one thing is the V-slot over here, which will give us better vision while we are routing. And we will also be able to adjust the depth of our cuts based on this model. Okay, so I'll be using this piece of plywood, and I have measured and marked the pieces down that I'm going to cut. So these 3 are the top pieces, and these 3 are the bottom pieces. This is the bottom piece, 4 inches by 2.5 inches. Okay, these are the 2 side bottom pieces, which are 2.5 inches by 2 3/16 of an inch. Okay, now I'm going to cut the top pieces, which is 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And 2.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch for the 2 smaller pieces. Okay, now that we've cut the top and the bottom pieces, it's time to drill some holes. Okay, so I'm going to use a 20mm Forstner bit to make this hole, and I've kept a scrap piece of wood down there so that I don't damage my table surface. Right, so this was our top piece. It's all done. No tear out because we had our scrap piece down there, so it's minimum tear out. So it's always a good idea to have a block of wood, scrap piece of wood underneath your cutting piece rather than hanging it freely over the edge of a table. Okay, so for our bottom piece I'm going to use the largest Forstner bit that I have, which is a 35mm. Right, I think I went down a wee bit too much, but looks good. Right, so I have sanded all my pieces down to their exact lengths, and it really took quite a lot of time. It took more than an hour to sand all the edges and keep everything nice and straight. So the next thing I'm going to do is going to mark the V slot for our bottom piece. To drill these holes for the wing nuts and these bolts. So for this piece, for the side pieces, this is the 2.5 inch side here, and this is the depth, which is 2 inches 3 by 16ths. So I've marked 2 holes and I want to basically make a slot across this area. So I'm going to drill a hole on the top side and then on the bottom side, and then I'm going to drill a series of holes to make a slot. Created the slots for both pieces, and I use a rasp to file the insides clean, and they look pretty good. And just to do a test fit, I'm just going to pass this bolt through there and it should slide easily up and down. Next is to glue up all the pieces. So now I'm going to glue the bottom and the top pieces together. Now that the glue is dried, we are ready to assemble the pieces. For the assembly, we will attach both pieces together. And for this, I'll be using a washer over the bolt, and I will pass this bolt through, and there it is. And then I will add another washer on the top, and then close this off with a wing nut. Okay, washer on the other side and the wing nut on the opposite side. And there we go. Twist this up like this, and then we just bring in our Dremel tool or whichever rotary tool you have, and then bring it over the collet nut, tighten it from the other side. Yeah, there's a nice and tight fit. And then just take your measure your bit depth. So I'm just gonna eyeball this, and I can see this gives me a nice, not a nice, but just a little bit of a cut depth here. So I will tighten the wing nuts. And there we are. That's not bad at all. Nice and straight. So if you have a guide which you're following, I think these can make some very nice and straight cut. And the cut depth then you can also increase. So if you want to go deeper, then for your second pass, just pass over the same lines again, and then you can try thicker bits. So I'm happy with the result, and it looks very good. So it's all done now, and it's a very nice and neat design, and I see myself using this quite a lot in the future for inlay works and calligraphy, making nameplates, and you'll see that in the upcoming projects. And so thank you once again, Jim, for a very robust and efficient design. So thanks for tuning in. Until next time, thanks for watching.